The Golden Knights finish winless in the rookie faceoff as they lose in overtime to the Avalanche on Monday. We talk about the VGK rookies ahead right here on Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
And thanks for making us your first listen, your team every day. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. And make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. That is Locked On Golden Knights. Find us on X at Tony Dasco, at TD Chris G, and at Locked On VGK. So, Chris, VGK's rookies losing to the Colorado rookies. They almost call them the Colorado Rockies rookies. Colorado rookies on Monday, 4-3. And that was in overtime. VGK's rookies wind up winless in 3 games over this weekend stretch. So the 3 VGK goals yesterday, Brendan Brisson had a goal from Matthias Sapovalev. And then Brisson also just missed another goal with a great save there by Braden Peters in that game, a diving save. Patrick Gay had a goal. He played mostly in Savannah, was up with the Henderson Silver Knights, and he scored on a 4-on-3 power play. And the one player that you said that you liked a lot, and that was Tomas Euronin. But for the rookies, I know everyone's just discounting the fact that they lost all 3 games, but did you see a good enough effort over the past 5 days out of the rookies to give you and leave you with a good impression?
Results-wise, no, but I don't think that matters a whole lot. I mean, we're comparing rookies to rookies for teams that have different types of situations. You look at their games against the Ducks and the Sharks. The Golden Knights didn't really have that good of fairings, but the Ducks and the Sharks have been stockpiling draft picks and acquiring draft capital and stuff for the last few years. So it's expected. Then you look at the Avalanche, a much more competitive team, Stanley Cup victors, and just late playoff runs and stuff like that. And the Golden Knights matched up a little bit better with them. So we're not going to overthink the results a whole lot here. I think the main takeaways are going to be Brendan Brisson. This is, I think, our 3rd show in a row talking about him right now. Did he do what we expected? And, we were saying he should dominate this. Dominate is probably a little bit too large of a word, but he did come away with 2 goals, I believe. And the game that me and my son were at on Saturday, just Brisson was noticeable. Goals are fun, but when you constantly see someone around the puck or constantly see the puck finding someone, they're doing something right. And Brendan Brisson checked all the boxes he needed to in the rookie faceoff.
George McPhee was a guest between the first and second periods on the stream as I was watching that yesterday. And one of the things that McPhee said was they have a chance to not just evaluate the VGK players, but also they get a glimpse at where other teams within the division are going. Pretty interesting in that they get a chance to see players, and if they're going with bigger size players, this will be the future. If they're going with speedy, fast, quick players, he feels as though this will probably open up the floodgates when they get into evaluation and then also the draft ahead next season. And I thought that was pretty interesting in just that you just don't evaluate the VGK players, but you look at perhaps the other teams and where they are headed. And one thing that really stood out, Chris, over the course of the 5 days and the goal scoring, mostly defensemen were scoring from other teams. Is that something to be aware of?
Starting with your first point there, I like the take from McPhee about scouting the future of the other teams. And you take that with a grain of salt, of course, because a lot's going to change before a lot of these kids even sniff the AHL or NHL. But it's a glimpse, right? It's a glimpse. They take some notes, they stick them on a hard drive somewhere, and they forget about them for a while.
On stickies, bro.
On sticky notes and napkins, right? Exactly. Yeah,
napkins.
They have a slightly larger budgets than we do. Their budget includes multiple commas, where ours includes decimal points. Going on to what was your second point? Oh, defensemen scoring goals. I mean, I don't know. That tells me that they're just putting the puck on the net into traffic. You look at one of the goals that they scored, the San Jose Sharks on Saturday. Thomas Bordeleau is literally on his butt. He gets knocked down and still finds a way to tip a puck and get a goal. And we've seen those types of issues before with the Golden Knights just letting. I mean, remember Tony? We talked about this so many times in previous seasons where the opposition scores a goal and then you get that overhead camera that points directly down on the crease, and all you see is the other team's forward, our goalie, and the puck going in the back of the net. So is the fact that that's happening at the rookie face-off level a concern that's organization-wide? I don't think we're going to go that far necessarily, but it's something that I guess if we want to do one of those yoga pretzel stretches, get our ankles up behind our forehead type of thing, we can make a case for it.
One of the areas, too, that VGK and the Silver Knights are going to have to clean up, penalties. Lucas Cormier, 3 penalties, one that really cost the VGK rookies yesterday, one of the 4-minute variety, and they cashed in on that power play.
Was it a high stick? Why do you get a 4-minute? Okay. I didn't watch the game.
I think, extra activity after after the whistle.
Fair enough.
I think that's what they called. I don't know. I couldn't really see it very well. But in any event, you don't want them to play sloppily. You want them to make sure that they're more disciplined, I think, even in a rookie game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's something that Ryan Craig will address after the game, and especially when it's one of the, Brennan Brisson, all eyes on Brisson, but Lucas Cormier definitely had a lot of eyes on him as well, because he's someone that's touted as, one of the next potentially men up from the Silver Knights should something happen with the Golden Knights defenseman. So you definitely don't want to see late penalties, and especially getting extra stuff after the whistle. That's just, he's one of the leaders out there. Cormier's job is to lead the younger, 18, 19 something. He's only a 20, low 20 something, but his job is to show the way, right? And to pave the way and all that. And it's a rookie game. It counts for absolutely nothing, in the grand scheme of things. And Cormier also knows that. So if he felt he needed to take liberties with someone, knowing that there was nothing at stake, Cormier's not going to get stuck down in the AHL because he did whatever he did. So there's a big picture here. It would be nice to see him doing a little better on the leadership side, but we're not going to make too much of it.
In game 3, there was also a lot of desperation from the VGK rookies trying to make that last minute push to get invited to camp. I told you yesterday, I said, George McPhee's on. I said he didn't say anything, but now my recollection is he did. He did say a few things, not much, but he was talking about Martha's Vineyard and Cup and some good old schmoozing and friends and all that. But he did say at the first intermission yesterday that Ryan Craig looks like a head coach. He said he is a different guy. He said that he held back. He stayed in his lane out of respect to Bruce Cassidy and the former coaches before him. And he said that Craig has opened up more, and he said that he has more authority now. Do we see a change with Ryan Craig? And yes, he is a leader now, and he needs to lead this AHL franchise.
Stay in his lane. That's a very...
Isn't that interesting?
It's a comment that I don't love. I mean, listen,
No.
Craig knows his role, right? He knows
Right.
his role and shuts his hole. There you go, Rock reference, right? But we saw The Rock on Friday Night SmackDown. Chris was so excited. But anyway, moving on from that.
And in Colorado, with
it was
Coach Prime over the
and
weekend.
Pat McAfee too actually was out there cutting the promo too with them all, and Austin Theory. It was a good time. We're WWE, folks. My guilty pleasure as a result of my son right now. I can blame him for it. So moving on from all this nonsense right now. Stay in your lane. Like I don't know what that comment means. Like I don't love it, but I'm having a hard time coming up with something on the spot that says why I don't like it. I mean, McPhee just knows Ryan Craig's character, I guess. There's a reason that they decided to make him the AHL coach. And, Craig is stepping off an NHL bench, a Stanley Cup winning NHL bench, to go on to an AHL bench, if you will, that has not fared well in the last couple of seasons. So I guess his lane got a little bit bigger, right? You know, he doesn't got to use a turn signal anymore. He has a little more authority, I guess, as you said. So we'll see what Craig is made out of. And you'll see that when someone like Lucas Cormier or Brendan Brisson or, you know, people that just are a little farther behind on the depth chart, you'll see what type of growth that they have. Korzak, Miramonov, they're kind of set in their ways because they've been part of the old regime, so to speak, where Cormier and Brisson really are going to have their opportunity to shine as a part of the new regime. And that's not a knock on Miramonov and Korzak by any means. Just Craig can put a little more of his thumbprints on Brisson and Cormier right now.
Chris Golick, stay in your lane, brother. VGK Camp expected to open up. You like that, huh? That's a new one. That's my version of Shut Up, Tony. Stay in your lane.
Shut your candy, but I'll get in trouble if I said that. So
right. VGK Camp expected to open on Thursday. We're going to talk about rookies and AHLers that might get invited. We'll talk about that when we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. And if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to do it than right now to get into the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including point spreads, player props, totals, over-unders, and much more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, the official partner of the National Football League. Welcome back to Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. We come to you daily. We are the only daily podcast, as Chris Golick pointed out to me yesterday. And make sure, please subscribe right here on the YouTube channel and listen to us wherever you get your podcast. Rookie camp is wrapped up, Chris, with the 5-day rookie face-off. So now I guess we can start to focus on the roster for the VGK Camp invites. And that should be expected to be released after 5 o'clock today, I would guess. Here are some of the names that we will see perhaps that made an impression. So Brendan Brisson, of course. What about Matthias Sapovalev? I thought that he's improved enough. He's got a bigger body now. And I saw him throwing his body in front of the net.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have, I thought I saw the Avalanche invite like 62 players or something like that. And I don't know if this is going to be similar to the NFL where they do, you know, cut down days and stages. I think they do it like that, actually. So you'll see a few players, you know, shaved off here and there and stuff like that. But like the rookie face-off, it's going to be an opportunity to make an impression. And it's not just about, you know, the hopes and dreams of making the NHL roster, but it's setting yourself up. You know, if last year you were on the first wave of cut downs, make it to the second wave this year, you know, just little things like that to keep moving your career in the right direction.
Some of the other names I thought that played pretty well. I like Jacob Demick, who, again, another big body, set a couple of really good screens in front of the net. 6'4", he's big. Jacob Babinets, rather. I think I've been mispronouncing his name for forever. He'll probably get an invite. Daniel Chayka, Lucas Cormier, as we mentioned. Someone that will not be invited is Joe Fleming. He just hits everyone, might injure someone there too.
There was a video that someone posted of him just firing some hip checks at his whatever his junior level was.
Oh, really?
Give him some time. He's 18 years old, but
I like him.
He's scrappy.
He came across the ice from one end of the rink to the other and hip checked the snot out of a player yesterday from the Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah, he doesn't know. These are the things that get your attention, right? These are the things that make you think about him next year.
But he doesn't know when to turn it down a little bit so that he doesn't injure his own play.
No, that kid's never walked away from a fight in his life. He's never walked away from a fight in his life.
Everyone has this love affair with Jesper Vikman, and I don't know. I watched him twice in net over the weekend, and I don't know. I mean, he starts off rather slow, and then he picks it up a little bit later. Is that someone that you like? And then what other goalies outside of Yuri Patera, obviously? What's going on with Isaiah Seville? How come he didn't
Um,
play in the rookie game?
I mean, there's really no
Games.
one that has my attention just in general outside of the players you mentioned. Obviously, I mentioned Uronen just on a whim from watching his speed in practice. He gets a goal, fine, but 18 years old, 2023 6th-round draft pick. I don't think his time is now to even get invited to camp. Maybe it is. You never know. And now you're going to see obviously some more of the Silver Knights regulars coming into the picture. We mentioned Miramonov. We mentioned Korczak, Sakari Manaman. That's another one we're going to see. Players like that, Jake Bischoff. Players who, and Mason Primo is someone who might get an invite to camp just to go and thump around a little bit, but he just doesn't have the wheels to get to that next step right there.
Caden Korczak.
Yeah,
would be
Korczak.
one.
Yeah,
And
Korczak, Miramonov.
And Pahal, Braden Pahal.
Well, yeah, Pahal, he's probably going to be on
He's
the
on
NHL
top,
side of
yeah.
it. We'll see how his contract works out. He's on a two-way, but I don't know if he's waivers exempt, so he might be able to start in the AHL, and then once he's up, he's up. It might be one of those scenarios. With the goalies, Isaiah Seville, I don't know if he needed to be in these games at all or be a part of this. They know what they have in him, and I think the focus might be seeing what he does in camp, because the depth chart right now, you can slice Aiden Hill and Logan Thompson however you want as far as 1 and 2. And then number 3 is Patera. After that,
Michael Hutchinson.
No, not anymore. Not anymore. But man, do we miss it? Do we miss that guy? Does he get a ring? He should have his name on the cup.
He's got to get a ring.
Should have got his name on the cup. But after that, basically, you have, like you said, Seville. We got Papirny, and you got Vikman. And what do you have in those players? And the Golden Knights have gone 4 and 5 deep a couple times in their existence. And if they have to go behind Patera, no disrespect to the kids that are there, or Papirny is an older kid, but still the kids that are back there, it's not a great feeling if they have to go that deep. And you do have to wonder, what is drawn on the whiteboard or the napkin or the sticky note in the event Logan Thompson or Aiden Hill do go down. And I had a few really fast here. Logan Thompson, I've had a few people hitting me up on social media and stuff. There's some fluff going around. Like I'm what a difference a year makes, I guess, right now. But there's some fluff going around that the Sabres are interested in Logan Thompson and a trade's going to happen. Just stop it.
What about Colorado?
I'm giving you the donkey. No one's Logan. There's not a pat. If Logan Thompson didn't get shipped to shed a contract prior to last season, Logan Thompson's going absolutely nowhere with his contract, his situation. There's nothing that another team can possibly offer the Golden Knights that doesn't involve crazy salary cap stuff, because Golden Knights are less than $1 million away from the cap right now. There's nothing that could possibly be returned to the Golden Knights in a reasonable trade to help the team get better right now if they trade Logan Thompson. So I appreciate everyone reaching out there, but a year ago I would have been like, yeah, trade him. We got to get rid of William Karlsson's bad contract. Well, that's not how the song goes this year, folks. Logan, it would be a shock if he was traded at any time before now and is when his contract.
So wait. Do we have an admission here that William Karlsson has the worst contract for VGK?
Oh, is it the worst contract?
It is the worst contract that VGK has.
I just wrote an article, and listen, he's good 5-on-5, whether Tony wants to admit that or not, but not at $5.9 million. Good. No. I just wrote an article on Vegas Hockey Now. I did I kind of like a this or that.
They're coming
what's more likely? Will William Karlsson score 13 goals or 20 goals this season? That's our $5.9 million center right there. Third line, albeit, but still, that's the third. We're talking about someone who was paid off of scoring 43 goals. So.
And you did have some up and back too. I thought I saw something on X or Twitter with a listener that says there's no way that Brisson makes this roster.
Oh, I don't agree with that. Is it unlikely? Is it a bit of a long shot? Yes. Is it slam the door? Brendan Brisson's not going to make the team? No, definitely.
No,
That's
no,
not
I
the
agree
case
with
at
you.
all right now. He checked the boxes so far on the rookie faceoff. Outside of what Connor Bedard did in Chicago, getting a hat trick in his first
Oh
game.
my goodness.
Yeah, I know. Bedard, he's going to be something. He's going to be something
Whew.
special. It's going to be fun. We get a chance to see him early on in Vegas too, like pretty much about a month from now, right? Not too much
Yeah,
longer than that.
not too much longer.
But there's a shot. There is a chance Brisson does make the roster. Is it less than 5 or 10%? Sure. Is it 100% he's not making the roster? He's just here as a formality? Absolutely not. There is a shot. And what does Brisson have to learn at the AHL level for another full season down there? That's a good question. Could he benefit from being on the Golden Knights roster day one and practicing with the Vegas Golden Knights, even if he's a healthy scratch for 40 of the first 50 games or something like that? Could he benefit from practicing daily from the Vegas Golden Knights? You betcha.
Coming up next, Mike Babcock fired in Columbus. Why does the NHL continually hire and rehire retreads and coaches that have been in trouble before? We get into that when we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Welcome back, Locked On Golden Knights, this Tuesday edition. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Please go to the YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights, and subscribe there. And don't forget, coming up on Fridays, it's WTF, What the Fridays. And we're also back to 5 days per week. Chris, this Mike Babcock situation,
Sure.
fired earlier this week in Columbus after the Spittin' Chicklets report that Babcock was up to his good old tricks. He reportedly told players that he wanted to see their cell phones, and then he pulled up photos from their cell phones on his office screen. Babcock denied the claims and later said that he wanted to just see family photos from his players. Nope. He wanted to dig into what they were looking at, maybe some female photos of their, the girlfriends, whatever. I don't care. That is your own personal possession there in your cell phone. He wanted to see what they were up to. Here's a coach fired in 2019. He was accused in the past, Chris, of mental abuse in Toronto. And the former Red Wings player, Johan Franzen, even called Babcock the worst person I have ever met. Why in the world would you take a chance on hiring someone like Mike Babcock, gone before the puck even drops, gone before they even open their camp?
The point that I made on Twitter last night is, if there's a pot of boiling water, if you stick your hand in it, you're going to get burned. And to even go a little bit farther, it's not the pot's fault and it's not the hot water's fault that you got burned. It's your fault that you got burned. And it's hard to understand why the Blue Jackets would put themselves out there for Mike Babcock. It's a lot easier to say it now that he screwed up again. But, when you look at the issues of mental abuse, one of the things he did in Toronto, he had, I believe it was Mitch Marner. He Babcock asked Marner to make a list of names of people you don't think are trying hard enough, are doing well enough.
I thought he said to rank the players like from the top to the bottom,
Something like that.
And
Yeah,
then he shared it with the team.
Yeah, it was
And
just
he drove Marner to tears. Like,
that's
this guy.
So, I mean, we start with the GM, Jarmo Kekalainen. I hope I said that name right. Kekalainen. There you go. That's why you're on the show, Tony. And then the president of hockey operations, John Davidson, over there.
Yeah.
I listened to the press conference a little bit when I was driving yesterday, and that presser was an absolute joke. You had one media member. Well, what exactly happened? Well, there were some things that surfaced. There were some things that happened, and this is the path that we're going to take. Okay, so you don't know what happened, the media member says. Well, no, there's some things that need to remain private in this. Like, it's just the secrecy is remarkable with everything that's already out there right now. You just got to put it all out there and say, here's what he did. Here's why he resigned. And then the comment from the ownership was just very interesting as well. Basically, we're going to keep a closer eye on these things. I took that as like the final written warning version of whatever professional sports management goes through, because the owner of the team is certainly not happy. We went through a process earlier this summer prior to hiring Mike Babcock, but we got it wrong, and that's on us. And then they went as far as to say, that was John Davidson, the president there. They went as far to say it was a mistake. Like, how do you not see these things? Like, and I wonder what the interview process, there you go, Tony, what the interview process is when they say, hey, you did this really terrible thing in Toronto. How are you better? What have, the same interview crap that we all go through, we're going through jobs. Tell us about a bad situation and how you made it better. Tell us about a challenging situation and how you got through it. Well, it sounds like they forgot to ask that question in their job interview.
They need to blow up the entire Good Old Boys network here. It's just their drinking buddies. Let's face it. At the end of the day,
they're the made men. Oh, they're the made men in Columbus.
Yeah, exactly. All they do is they'll go out fishing together, and they're going to booze after each and every game and hang out and tell old hockey stories. Get rid of this culture. This is what kills the National Hockey League. John Tortorella has to be next he's up next. He's on the clock. He's got to be on the clock.
But Tortorella's still around. He's still around.
I know. I get that. But why? Yes, they're good hockey coaches. They're salty old men. And all they do is complain about this, that, and the other. But I think at the end of the day, they're taking it out. And I'm telling you, Tortorella is definitely abusing his players. He's got to be.
I don't know. I think that's based on his tenure in the league. Abusing the players is it's a statement that is more or less in the eye of the beholder. Something now we're going back in the corporate days, something I learned in one of my HR meetings when I was just a young buck in the poker world, so to speak, was, we kind of draw our own lines as far as human resources go. And the way me and you talk, Tony, versus the way me and my banker talks might be two different types of conversations. And when I was working, the way I talk with my core leaders is different than the way I addressed my dealers and stuff like that. And that's just, the nature of the beast and stuff like that. But Tortorella, he's salty old man. Fine. Sure. I'm not going to fight you on that one. Does he try to get the most out of his players by yelling and getting in their ears? And, you look at the Pierre-Luc Dubois saga and stuff like that when they were together and all of that. And, yeah, but is he where as salty as like a Daryl Sutter goes, where people just hate his guts and, you're probably done seeing him in the National Hockey League? Is he anywhere near what Mike Babcock has done? And the answer, I think, is a resounding no on both of those, because the NHL, at least from this point forward, you're going to see a much closer version of, them paying attention a little bit more, when you have one of these outbursts on the net and the coach keeps getting over the person's shoulder. Because we've seen Tortorella do this. It's a good reference, and it's a fair comparison right now, where he just, he walks away, then he gets back over the player's shoulder, and he walks away and goes back at him again. And, some coaches get the most out of players by yelling and swearing at them. And that's an accepted culture to a degree. But there's also a line that you cross, and, pulling up someone's cell phone. And, there's one thing saying, hey, here's my family. Are you married? You got kids? Why don't you show me a picture? Like, there's nothing wrong with stuff like that. Right. But if Tony, if you're my coach or if you're my player and I'm your coach, I say, hey, listen, I'll take a look at your phone. I want to see what I'm dealing with right now.
You don't want to see my photos.
Well, they're not going to be, they're going to be pixelated because you got a flip phone, and I'm not going to be able to, there's nothing incriminating anyway on your phone. So don't worry about it.
Did you see I put up 4 photos that you would find in William Karlsson's phone?
I did see. I can't remember what they were.
Well, he's hugging.
Ooh. That's a segment, Tony. That's a segment for tomorrow.
I did troll him, and he was hugging Foley, of course, 90% of the time. So
I think that's a segment, Tony. What 4 photos would you find on XYZ player's phone? That could be a segment right there. This could be fun. That could even be a mailbag article. Like I know our perspectives on mailbags. No, that could be a fun mailbag. That could be a fun one, at least to invite and
we
say,
could get participation.
Yes, exactly.
What photos do you think we would see?
Exactly. I like that one.
Chris Chelios on Mike Babcock one time called him a bully too. The days of bullying
And that's
in
Shelly.
the NHL.
Shelly can handle himself, though. That says something. I'm
if
sorry
he's
to cut
saying,
you
right,
off.
exactly. If he's saying he's a bully, he's an absolute bully. Are there any other bully coaches out there that just need to be eliminated? Hockey sometimes can't get out of its own stinking way.
I mean, depends on who you talk to about Cassidy.
Cassidy.
I didn't say he is a bully coach. I didn't say that. But
What
there's
photos do you think
we've heard some
has?
murmurs that there's a different and there's a different. To be fair, there's a different version of all of these coaches behind closed doors, and there's not too many closed doors circumstances. And even when the doors are closed, there's cameras these days. So but when the doors do get closed, they speak up, and it's not just even the coaches, but the players. When they're having a passionate discussion about something, it can get a little bit ugly too. So. It's again, there's a line, there's another line, and then there's another line. You can maybe cross the first line. Once you cross that second line, you really got to evaluate what it is that you're saying. And then there's the third line where if you cross it, you're toast. And Babcock found the 7th and 8th line beyond the third line.
Yeah, for sure. And I think in South Beach, Bruce's phone, you probably first photo that would pop up is probably Bruce on the beach in Miami in a Speedo tanning. It's got to be tanning. Stay with us, folks. We'll be back again tomorrow.
Image in my head now.
I know. I just tried to ruin your day there. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day.
Yeah,
Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Our everydayers, thank you for putting up with us,
Godspeed,
a.k.a. me.
Part of the show.
And hopefully we'll get this stinking roster in for camp here sometime today before 5 o'clock. Again, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Take care.